sequence of ignition begins. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 5, and 0. Take off, take off. We are taking off. Hello everyone, I'm checking my volumes and this is the Peppo coin. Mr. B, he detests it when I look at my volumes. Checking my volumes is something Nick Barafato detests. I would them out of necessity, but I always dedicate that segment of the show to Nick Barafato. That's what this section is then. All right, the market has been quite flat and is looking lovely. I feel this way every time I see the market, that it is, and I have been doing this all along. XRP would rise and then experience a significant decline. However, this time feels very different because there was no significant reversal when it rose above $2. When it reached $3, it did the same thing again. The engine is warming up and it feels like a rocket on the damn platform. Thus, it feels fantastic at the moment. Right now, look, all this crap about Bitcoin alone and Bitcoin only has been around. The absurd thing about all of that is that these individuals aren't even taking that into consideration. What will happen to the economy as a whole in terms of digital assets, the infrastructure that is being constructed, and the real applications of these things? We are quite fortunate to have adults. To sort through all of the Bitcoin and the meticulously constructed story, you must go and locate the adults. Don't be misled by it. The adults will let you know that we must navigate it, but regrettably, we now require equal treatment in the crypto media as well. Only a handful of us are sifting through everything and delivering it to you. You would only hear Bitcoin if we didn't. Bitcoin, Ethereum was all you could hear before we broke Eastgate wide open. I'm not saying that Bitcoin or Ethereum won't perform well, and I'm not saying that I don't want them to, but Ethereum is currently in a precarious position. I want them all to succeed. A level playing field is what we've desired. They simply desired a path. Monopoly. But you know what? They will not understand. Pay attention to the adults. This is Christian Carlo, the former head of the CFTC during the first term of Donald Trump. If I'm able to make it play, I'll press the refresh button on that jerk. The 21st century is going to be really, really different, in my opinion. The 21st century will be characterized by a number of rival digital networks of values. The word that the Bitcoiners do not want to hear is that some of systems like XRP and Bitcoin will be decentralized, meaning that nodes in the system will be run by tens of thousands, if not millions of people. Other systems will be extremely centralized. Some will be managed by nation-states such as China with its digital yuan and Europe with its digital euro. Others will be controlled and managed by large tech corporations in the private sector, such as Circle or PayPal. Additionally, there will be tokenized deposits, digital accounts and financial institutions, and fractionalized deposits. Additionally, some will be run by states. I believe I heard this morning that Florida is considering making a digital Florida coin legal tender in the state. We're entering a very new 21st century world that won't be the same as the united world of the 20th century centered around the dollar. I'm not sure whether that passes constitutional muster. We will also need to ask ourselves some important questions. How can the dollar be made future-proof in this world? If we can, how can we maintain its role as a reserve currency? Above all, how can we maintain the principles that the dollar has historically represented? The principles of free enterprise, free trade, and above all, the ability to conduct business without interference from the government or censorship. Now, because he is discussing a digital commodities stockpiling, this is the clip that Bitcoiners really don't want to hear. He says that historically, every nation has a stockpile of commodities including gold, silver, and soybeans. This is grown-up language. Having a diverse stockpile of goods is merely a sensible move. In a competitive environment, it's a wise move. For the sake of national security, it makes sense. Therefore, it is absurd and foolish to think that we will somehow place only Bitcoin, whom they do not even know, into a reserve when they are ostensibly unaware of its creator. Take a listen. We might base our currencies on a commodity once more, but this time it would be a digital one, like Bitcoin, which has built-in software scarcity. Well, it's not such a crazy idea because China has been discussing it with their own digital product and nations like the BRICS are already experimenting with it. Therefore, I would like to know if the idea of a digital stockpile needs to be exclusive to Bitcoin. We can investigate the possibility that it is restricted to other digital commodities, such as Ethereum, XRP, or others. However, the idea of a stockpile seems to make a lot of sense to me. In actuality, countries like China and the United States constantly hoard commodities. China stores soybeans, rebar, copper, and petroleum, while we store petroleum. Thus, countries are constantly hoarding commodities. We ought to be, and President Trump is entirely justified in considering a digital commodities stockpile. And we have every right to be considering it. The kids also believe we're just going to have a little fun. In terms of national security, we will open up. We will just have China, Bitcoin, and everything else. All they're going to do is have a Bitcoin. I mean, it's insane that everyone will just do that. By the way, Christian Carlo, who you just watched, will be performing at XRP Las Vegas. It's a crazy tune. Last year he was there. In fact, he approaches everyone in the throng and strikes up a conversation. He and his spouse, who are both quite kind, came out. He'll be out there. Georgetown hosts DC FinTech Week in the summer. People, the statistics are really insane, and it's going to be something. Thousands will be present. All right. The official nice man then recorded a video last night in which Laura Ingraham and David Sachs discuss cryptocurrency in passing. I'll hit refresh on that one if I can get it to play. When will the Trump administration make the announcement regarding the Bitcoin reserve? Everyone is anticipating that, although we have the review and the analysis, Texas will proceed as the Bitcoin reserve. It appears that Dan is dealing with legislation. They certainly spread the talking points about the Bitcoin reserve, don't they? What about the Trump administration? Patrick stated today that it is a top priority for them in Texas, while the Senate has a bill as well. A measure to establish a national Bitcoin reserve has been proposed by Cynthia Lummis of Wyoming. Although we are not yet prepared to comment on that matter, Trump has requested that we investigate it, and it is one of the topics that our working group will examine. I'm eager. I'm grateful, David. Oh, they're gonna cry, boy. Now, this is a really intriguing point. For years, the story of Bitcoin and Ethereum has been presented to us. As I mentioned before, things became a little quieter after we revealed the Heathgate. But this clip continues. To promote the Bitcoin story, there are 4 instances of the term crypto. He mentions Bitcoin twice, but Cointelegraph only emphasizes that aspect. Soft shaping of the media narrative is what this is. For years, we have been able to observe it using CoinDesks and Cointelegraphs. Although Cointelegraph has improved recently, this stuff is still quite clear. The president's acceptance of cryptocurrency has thrilled me, and I believe it aligns perfectly with the Republican Party, whose philosophy is centered on freedom and the long-term viability of the crypto economy. In an attempt to erase the stain left by Benjamin Freed and his family's contributions to the Democratic Party, the Democrats are fleeing the situation. They are therefore prepared to destroy an entire industry because of misconduct on their side. Misconduct by one actor, and I believe that everything is on the table. In reality, they were merely making an effort. This was their second or third attempt to establish a cryptocurrency monopoly. One of the intriguing things about Bitcoin, in my opinion, is that it appeals to a generation of investors who may have been searching for investment options or who may have lost faith in markets after the great financial crisis. Young people are being drawn to cryptocurrency, as are those who have never traded in markets. And a key component of capitalism in the U.S. is the market culture and the belief that the markets serve their interests. He certainly didn't use the word crypto very much. Here you go once more. The fact that these people serve up is